Heart of Home, the story of Sarah and Michael in the rolling hills of Asheville, North Carolina, where the Blue Ridge Mountains cradled a vibrant town filled with art galleries, craft breweries, and the hum of creative souls, lived Sarah and Michael. Their love story, told through Sarah's eyes, was one of resilience, sacrifice, and the quiet strength of a woman who learned to balance her dreams with the demands of a shared life. Sarah was a potter, her hands always dusted with clay, her studio a cozy haven of spinning wheels, vibrant glazes, and half-finished mugs. Her auburn hair was often swept into a messy bun, and her green eyes held a spark of determination that drew people to her. She was the heart of her community, teaching pottery classes at the local arts center and filling her home with warmth and laughter. Michael, a high school history teacher, was her opposite in many ways, methodical, with a love for facts and a dry sense of humor that only those closest to him understood. His wire-rimmed glasses and neatly pressed shirts hid a man who felt deeply but expressed it quietly. Their story began 8 years ago at a farmer's market in downtown Asheville. Sarah was selling her pottery, her table a kaleidoscope of handcrafted bowls and vases, when Michael stopped by, drawn to a mug with a mountain design. He lingered, asking about her process, and Sarah, sensing his genuine curiosity, talked for an hour about clay and kilns. Their conversation spilled into coffee at a nearby cafe, where they discovered a shared love for hiking, old vinyl records, and the quirks of their eclectic town. Sarah fell for Michael's steadiness, the way he listened without rushing her, and his unexpected wit that surfaced in quiet moments. Their dates were simple: hikes in the Pisgah National Forest, late-night talks on her porch swing, and impromptu dances in her studio to Fleetwood Mac. After 2 years, Michael proposed during a hike to Looking Glass Falls. He didn't kneel, Sarah hated cliches, but handed her a small wooden box he'd carved himself, containing a ring with a tiny turquoise stone. "Sarah, you make every day feel like home," he said. "Will you build one with me?" She said yes, tears streaming as she laughed at his earnest, slightly nervous smile. Their wedding was a celebration of their community, held in a meadow with wildflowers and mason jars filled with fairy lights. Sarah wore a flowing dress she'd dyed herself, and Michael beamed in a linen suit. Friends played bluegrass music, and the night ended with everyone dancing under the stars. But marriage, Sarah soon learned, was a dance of its own, one that required patience, compromise, and a willingness to stumble. The early years were a mix of joy and adjustment. Sarah's free-spirited nature, she'd stay up until 2 a.m., perfecting a glaze or rearrange their living room on a whim, sometimes clashed with Michael's need for order. He liked schedules, lesson plans, and a tidy kitchen, while Sarah thrived on spontaneity. They argued over small things: her clay-stained clothes on the couch, his habit of overanalyzing every decision. But Sarah cherished how they always found their way back, often over a shared pot of coffee where she'd tease him about his teacher voice, and he'd grin, pulling her into a hug. Life tested them in their 3rd year. Sarah's pottery business was thriving, with orders pouring in from local shops, but it meant late nights and weekends in the studio. Michael, meanwhile, was dealing with budget cuts at school, which left him stressed and overworked. Sarah felt the strain of their time apart, missing the quiet evenings they used to spend together. One night, after a tense argument about her long hours, Sarah sat in her studio, staring at a cracked bowl she'd spent days shaping. Michael knocked softly,
holding 2 mugs of tea. "I don't want to lose us in all this," he said. Sarah took his hand, her voice soft. "We won't. Let's make time for us no matter what." They started small traditions to reconnect. Sunday morning hikes, no phones allowed, and no shop talk dinners where they'd share stories from their past or silly dreams for the future. Sarah opened up about her fear of losing herself in marriage, of her art becoming secondary. Michael listened, then suggested she take a month-long pottery residency in Santa Fe, something she'd always wanted but hesitated to pursue. "Your dreams matter, Sarah," he said. "I'll be here when you get back." That gesture, his willingness to let her chase her passion, deepened her love for him. When Michael's mother was diagnosed with cancer, Sarah became the rock he leaned on. She drove him to hospital visits, cooked meals for his family, and sat with him on nights when grief made words impossible. She'd hold him, her hands still dusted with clay, and whisper, "We'll get through this together." And when Sarah faced her own setback, a gallery deal that fell through, leaving her questioning her talent, Michael spent